Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover the invisible digital tracks you leave behind every single day completely unaware. We always hear about companies tracking our posts, our searches, or our online purchases, right? But today, we're exposing something far more intimate, far more pervasive, and entirely hidden from view. Welcome to the secret AI pipeline.
I want you to think about this for a second. Think about every time you're texting on your smartphone and you hover your thumb over the screen. Maybe you pause, reconsider a thought, backspace, and rewrite a message. You didn't actually send those original words. But where did those micro movements go? Who is watching the ghost of your deleted thoughts? The reality is, the modern apps and browsers we use every day are embedding with what's called session replay analytics. They are literally logging your pointer movements, your scrolling, and your unique typing rhythm.
Now, if you think that sounds like a theoretical privacy issue, let me hit you with a staggering number: 31 million. In one notorious case, researchers found that a third-party keyboard app had left an unsecured database wide open. And what was inside? The raw, unedited keystrokes of 31 million users. Not just their final polished messages, but every single typo, every backspace, paired directly with their names, their emails, and their exact device IDs.
And this highlights the exact threat we're facing today: your shadow fingerprint. It's the fine-grained telemetry of your micro-behaviors. Apps are actively using these session replay analytics to stream your live user journey right off your device. They aren't just counting your clicks anymore. They're painting a detailed, behavioral portrait of your habits, your indecisions, and how you interact with software on a subconscious level. Keyboard apps, for example, have even been known to collect data on exactly which apps you're typing inside of, and your physical geolocation while you do it.
Let's move to Section 1, the invisible data pipeline.
Let's trace the journey of a single, seemingly meaningless click to see how a local action builds into a massive global operation. Step 1, your device logs the event. Step 2, browsers like Firefox or apps on your phone batch these logs into small data packets called JSON pings and securely send them over the web to their cloud servers. Step 3, a huge amount of this telemetry flows right into the hands of third-party analytics providers and data brokers. They clean it, label it, and build structured behavioral profiles. And Step 4, the grand finale. These massive datasets are sold and fed directly into the neural weights of AI developer models. Your local behavior is being funneled out and monetized without you ever realizing it.
To really wrap our heads around the scope of this, we have to look at the hardware surrounding us. By late 2025, there are roughly 21 billion connected IoT devices worldwide. We're talking smartwatches, smart home gadgets, tablets, phones, and almost every single one of them is quietly contributing to this massive micro-event data stream. Every device is a sensor, and well, you are the subject.
This brilliantly illustrates the sheer, mind-numbing scale of what we're talking about. The IDC estimates that network devices will produce roughly 80 zettabytes of data by 2025. Just for context, one single zettabyte is a trillion gigabytes. It is an absolute global data deluge cascading into corporate data warehouses. It's a mathematical juggernaut, constantly pulling in the raw, behavioral telemetry of human existence just to feed AI training engines at massive cloud compute farms.
All right, Section 2, Weighting Your Soul, AI training.
This is where it gets incredibly fascinating, and honestly, a little unsettling. In modern deep learning, models are often trained using something called reinforcement learning from user feedback, or RLHF. Think about when an AI text editor suggests a phrase to you, and you hit undo or you delete it. That action is captured as an implicit vote against the suggestion. That tiny bit of feedback creates a small mathematical gradient. Across billions of examples, those gradients adjust millions of neural weights. The AI is literally using your everyday pauses, deletes, and edits to encode your digital soul, learning your preferences, your personality style, and exactly how to mimic human behavior more convincingly.
But it goes way beyond just learning general patterns. Research shows that large language models can actually inadvertently memorize chunks of their training data. That means rare phrases or your private keystrokes could be extracted later on. Companies are aggressively harvesting this data under the guise of transformative use. Meta's chatbots, for instance, train on your public Instagram and Facebook posts. LinkedIn quietly updated its policy in 2024 to allow corporate insiders to train AI on your private messages. And the absolute kicker here? Even if you manage to find the buried setting and opt out, it only stops future training. The data they've already digested stays permanently baked into the model.
Which brings us to Section 3, the illusion of opt-out.
Trying to escape this system feels a bit like fighting a ghost.
largely thanks to what we call deceptive UX, or user experience practices. The platforms make it incredibly difficult to truly cut off the data flow. They bury data sharing toggles under multiple layers of obscure menus. They rely heavily on default agree buttons and massive, vague terms of service agreements that authorize harvesting the second you click I accept on a harmless-looking cookie banner. On Facebook and Instagram, there isn't even a global opt-out for AI training. And on WhatsApp, you can only disable AI training on a tedious, per-chat basis. It's intentional friction, purposely designed to bypass consent and keep the data pipeline flowing.
And the law isn't exactly riding to the rescue here, leaving major regulatory gaps. In the United States, there is simply no comprehensive federal data privacy law, and absolutely no affirmative opt-in is required for most of these data uses. The FTC mostly just steps in if a company happens to violate its own stated privacy promises. Across the Atlantic, the European Union passed the highly publicized AI Act, which was supposed to add strict transparency rules. But by early 2026, key revisions had stalled out amid intense industry pushback. So companies are largely free to rely on legal fine print to claim broad rights for model improvement with minimal user control.
Finally, Section 4, Architects of the Future, Fighting Back.
Now, take a breath because you are definitely not powerless in this algorithmic arms race. The first major shift we're seeing is a move away from cloud dependency. Think about your smartphone keyboard for a second. The risky default is using cloud-augmented smart keyboards like Gboard or SwiftKey, which openly admit to sending your usage stats back to their servers. But by 2025, a brilliant new breed of privacy keyboards emerged. We're talking about apps like OpenBoard and HealyBoard. These process all of their AI suggestions and autocorrects entirely on-device, with zero network access required. They simply cannot phone home because they literally don't have the connection to do so.
Tech advocates are also developing some pretty advanced counter-tactics to fight back, splitting into two distinct approaches. The first is data poisoning, or applying differential privacy. This essentially means using browser extensions to inject random noise, dummy clicks, and completely bogus keystrokes into your telemetry stream, which totally ruins the value of your data for AI profiling. Second, on a much larger scale, the industry is exploring federated learning. MIT researchers have actually shown that even tiny IoT devices, like your smartwatch, can locally train a shared AI model and only send back the mathematical improvements. This ensures your raw data absolutely never leaves your physical device.
If you want to reclaim your digital sovereignty and stay ahead of these massive tech platforms, you need to actively take control of your data. And hey, if you want me to keep bringing you these deep dive explainers so you know exactly how to do that, please take a second right now to like this explainer and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely tells the algorithm that privacy matters, and it ensures you won't miss our next breakdown on how to protect your digital life.
So, what are the actionable steps you can actually take today? First up, audit your footprint. Services like Digital Footprint Check can scan for your exposed data so you can clean up those hidden traces. Second, transition your daily apps to privacy-first end-to-end encrypted suites, like Proton for your mail, VPN, and storage needs. And third, support the policy push. Organizations like the Electronic Frontier Foundation are fighting hard for strict opt-in training data laws, pushing to treat AI data scraping with the heavy regulatory weight it deserves.
We've seen how a simple hesitation before typing a text message gets funneled into a multi-billion-dollar AI pipeline. We've seen how the interface itself is designed to trick you into compliance. So I want to leave you with this massive, provocative thought. As these models get hungrier and the tracking gets even more invisible, who truly owns your digital soul? And knowing what you know now, will you let them keep it? Sound off in the comments below with what steps you're taking to protect your shadow fingerprint. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.